Hello guys, it's Sakuems. So this is a new time-lapse video for all of you, and this time I decided to work on a ocean SeaWorld theme, which is something that I wanted to do for a long time. And literally, it just got to me, I don't know why or when. This is something that happens sometimes. I had like a list of artwork that I want to do, and like a lot of them are ready to be like, I guess the concept art is finished. I just have to clean the sketch and maybe trace, but I have like an idea already made in a way. But so I have a list, so I don't really need to like sketch any new ideas, but sometimes it just happens. I'm like doing something else and I just have an idea, so I have to do it. And so for this piece, what happened is something that I never do is actually grab my watercolor pad, and I've like literally sketch onto it directly. I usually have a scrap kind of paper that I sketch onto, and then I clean the sketch and then I do it again. I have like one or two steps before that, but this time I sketch directly on it, and I have in mind to do a mermaid kind of aliens. I don't know exactly what kind of character I have in mind. I just knew that I wanted to have her kind of big eyes and a bit like I guess alien, or like mermaidy. I don't know exactly, but like not actually human, but she still has human features, but she doesn't really look like this is not realistic. She has bigger eyes, like a very like she will have like, I wanted to have like a fishy kind of human. I mean, you know, something like that. That's what I have in mind. And I wanted to use jellyfishes, I don't know, and like shells, and basically like a lot of little kind of items you will have in like SeaWorld kind of thing. But at first I wanted to have a mermaid, but I wanted to have a portrait, and especially also something very specific for this piece is I wanted to have no cut around the character, kind of like a tattoo design in a way, because I want to use this as a t-shirt design, and so it's better to have that if I can easily just remove the background. And so I couldn't really make at that size like a full mermaid with like her tail and everything because of the size of the paper. So that's what I did, like this little SeaWorld portrait kind of thing. And so that was my main idea that I sketched, and I worked a bit on computer, and then I rework the sketch basically. I didn't use like transfer paper for this time. I simply just copied the sketch that I did on computer, and so that's why I included this in the beginning of the video. But so after doing that, I didn't prepare any kind of color scheme, which is also something that I usually do on computer. I decided to just go straight into it. I prepared my base. I wanted to have like muted colors, a lot of purples and blues and greens and blue-greens, but very like underwater kind of thing. So this is why I prepared my colors with my the Kuretake Gansai watercolors, and also a bit of my Winsor Newton artist watercolor. And so this is what you see on my little palette. It's basically my colors, because the Kansai Kuretake is super pigmented. I can't grab the paint directly from the pan. This is way too dense for me, so that's why I prepared my colors with a bit of water inside, and they're just beautiful. So if you haven't tried them, you should really just try. But so yeah, that being said, I wanted to stay in the same kind of color family, and maybe just like kind of like this, I don't know, it's like a bit cliche, but I was gonna be like, okay, nope, try to stay away from like reds and browns, and also no flesh colors, you know. So that's why I stayed into this like very, I guess, alien, like, you know, like greeny, like greens and purples. I don't know, you see like the kind of ambience I wanted to have in this painting, but I mean, this is something I always do. I'm trying really hard to stay away from my rainbow art, but I can't help it. Every time I like shade any kind of part of an artwork, I can't just shade with like the same family. I can't just shade purples with purples. It's boring. I can't just shade greens with like dark greens. I have to always play around with the gradient and had like purples and pinks and blues together and like blue greens, and I'm just all over the place. But I tried my best to still not get too crazy and still get that like seaward underwater kind of gradient thingy. There's the colors that I've used are a lot darker than what I usually work with. I realized that after like working with Copic markers, which you're gonna see after. But yeah, I used a lot of my dark colors, which I usually don't do, and you're also going to see that I did a dark background, which I never do also. So this piece was like not really challenging in a way, but it's definitely different from what I'm usually doing, and I really want to try to work more towards this kind of theme, not really like SeaWorld, but more about non-human, like hybrids in a way. And this is like my first try, and I'm not like super 100% happy with the face, but I'm still trying to work towards that. I know I tried like doing more realistic and not like super manga, what I was doing like 2 years ago, but I don't think like really realistic features is like what I prefer. If you seen my last video, Shattered Dance, the reference that I used, the girl I've used, I kept the features to really be like close to realistic feature that you will see on a human face, but I'm not like super sure that I want to stay on that road. I think I prefer to have a little bit of a enhanced face feature, bigger eyes, smaller lips. I don't know, I'm still trying to find a balance, but I definitely feel like I can't just do realistic, because I don't know, it's just I feel more comfortable if I do a little bit of like it's a bit I mean, like not crazy, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna say with, and what am I going with that. I just tried something else. I just tried something new, and I might not do like bigger eyes like that all the time, but I'm definitely going to experiment a bit with, I guess, a little bit more like this kind of illustrative, not creepy, but I guess cute. I don't know how I can describe it, but I want to do more non-human characters, or at least like half humans kind of thing. But I want to work with animals also, and like creature kind of thing. I feel like this is what I had in mind. It's like very creature-like and googly, not googly eyes, but you know, like this kind of thing. And so that was my idea for the style and everything. And speaking more about the process itself, so I usually work with watercolors first, and I also use a bit of ink. But this paper that I'm using is hot pressed, very smooth finish, and it's kind of hard to get the watercolor really into the paper. It's kind of stays on the surface, which is nice because when I'm using Copic markers, I want that. I want this like slightly glossy finish in a way, not like super matte, because if it's super matte, it's gonna drink too much ink. So I need that. But it's not that I can't blend, it's just that it takes a bit more time and I have to let the layers dry. And so that's what I did. But after like after the base colors and the base like gradient that I want to have, I was like, okay, this is enough watercolors. I'm gonna jump with Copic markers, because this is where I can really control my like shading and blending, etc. So this is what I did. And so yeah, basically my process is always the same. I work with watercolors, and I switch to Copic markers, and I can't really tell you exactly what colors I've picked because I'm using so much, but I can tell you like my most used one, I suppose. So I definitely used a lot of the BG 72, 75 and 78, which is like a blue-green teal color, but a very muted one. And that's like a lot like a huge part of this artwork is done with this like free color combo. I've used a lot also. On top of it, I've used like the bright pink which is I think the RV04 and 06. And when I when I lay them on top, it creates like a purpley, like a bright purple color, which is something that I really like. And then it's also like basically all the teal colors and like turquoise a lot. I've also used a lot of the YG02, like everywhere it's like very neon green kind of color. This is the color I've picked. And so yeah, that's about it for the colors. For the background, I've used a lot of V17 and like all the dark blues and greens and BG75 again. And as for lining, I didn't use any black for this piece. I've used a dark, like a purple Staedtler a fine liner. And I really tried to, I guess, like create a high contrast. And then the white pen was a way for me to make it like glowing in a way, and like create all the designs and like little graphic like embellishment. And I've used it to, I guess, ink the jellyfishes, because it was a way for me to make them look like they are translucent in a way, and create also like the highlights and everything. And I've also like used the pen for little bubbles that I put everywhere. And I found something quite interesting with this piece is that the Sakura jelly roll, you can actually color on top after it's dried. I didn't knew that, because I was like scared of like putting a white pen, because it's just really too bright. It's like pure white on top, and I didn't want highlights to be really white. So what I did is I did my highlights everywhere, and then I came on top with an actual Copic marker just to get a wash on top, kind of like a colored Sakura jelly roll, if that makes any sense. So I've used like my pink and blue on top of the white highlights, and that was basically a way to get it like a bit muted instead of like bright white highlights, which is how I guess like balance the contrast and the overall balance of the piece, instead of having like, you know, this like super bright highlights. And then what else did I think that's pretty much it to be honest. I really like how this turned out, and I'm definitely going to work more towards like this kind of piece that is a little bit more, I guess, not exactly darker, but it's definitely not nice as like romantic cutie kind of character that I'm doing like usually. And I really like this color palette that I've used, but I'm still like trying so hard to not have any pinks, but I can't because I just love when it's just full of colors. But yeah, that is basically it. So I hope you like this video and that you like the artwork. And I think that will be it. So if you're interested, you can get the original on my Etsy shop, and there's also the print for this. And I think that is the last thing I wanted to say. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.